Hello and welcome to We Just Quoting the podcast, but we do more than just quote. This is We Just Quote Wednesday, and today I'll be talking about fake friends, knowing who is truly for you, the modern day Samaritan, random acts of kindness, and this week's quote of the week, which will be revealed in the podcast. Stay at the end of the podcast to get a clue about next week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know exactly when a new podcast comes out, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Before I start this podcast, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support shown towards the podcast. This is only the beginning and it's just getting better. I want to start off this podcast with a tweet. It's a tweet that a friend showed me, and the tweet said, and I quote, "Your funeral is going to be more packed than your birthday because people would rather see you on your back than on your feet." Let me repeat that. Your funeral is going to be more packed than your birthday because people would rather see you on your back than on your feet. I've talked about this idea before about knowing who is truly for you in my mini podcast called Do You Know Who Your Friends Are? Check it out if you haven't already. Fake friends nod their heads at everything you do. True friends will correct you when you are wrong and will raise you up. Know the difference between a fake friend and a true one. Though it's hard at times, be careful who you keep around you. Fake friends nod their heads at everything you do. True friends will correct you when you are wrong and will raise you up. Surround yourself with people who will raise you up and not kick you down. And I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, and I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. Be with those people who will raise you up. Because if you're already rising, you don't need other fake friends, other people to bring you down. You need to surround yourself with people who will raise you up. Those lyrics that I read out are from a song called Rise Up by Andre Day. And I'm going to repeat them again for you because I love them. I absolutely love the lyrics, and I always talk about songs and use song lyrics in my podcast, but you know what? If you really listen to the words in some of the songs that you listen to in your everyday life, you will hear the true messages and the meanings behind them. And when you really listen to them, you realise that, wow, they have a lot of meaning and they really do hit deep, and you can relate it to your own life in any way, shape or form. And I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up. High like the waves, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. Remove those people who sit out at your lows and join in at your highs. Some people will sit out and watch you suffer when you are not at your best, but will come and celebrate with you when you are flying high. Be with those people who are truly happy for your successes. There are too many fake people in this world, so be with those people who are truly happy for your successes. Those people who are truly happy for you when you succeed. Those people are special types of people, and you should hold on to them. There are too many fake and sinister people in this world. Hold on to the good ones and don't let them go. You were something I can't replace. You make my heart work. You make me feel stronger. I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go. You were something I can't replace. You make my heart work. You make me feel stronger. I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go. In the words of Tiny Temper, who wrote the songs Not Letting Go, featuring Jess Glynn, which I just read out to you, don't let go of those special types of people. Like Tiny Temper said in this song, where he says, not letting go, I'm not letting go, I'm not letting go, don't let go. Don't let go of those special types of people. Just like you should surround yourself with people who are truly happy for your successes. Hold on to those people who will lift you up when you fall. When you are struggling, they will be there. Hold on to those type of people. There are so many people who are happy to see you on your back and not on your feet. Take a turtle, for example. When it's on its back, it can't move and it's struggling. Who will help the turtle and turn it back on its feet so it can walk and be on its way? Many people would let the turtle suffer, I'm sure. Let's look at a story from the Bible. The story of the Good Samaritan. The parable of the Good Samaritan is told by Jesus in the Gospel of Luke. It is about a traveller who is stripped of clothing, beaten, and left half dead alongside the road. First a Jewish priest and then a Levite comes by, but both avoid the man. Finally, a Samaritan happens upon the traveller. There are many modern-day Good Samaritan stories and examples, which I will read a few out to you now. The man at the market. When the supermarket clerk telled up my groceries, I was $12 over what I had on me. I began to remove items from the bag when another shopper handed me a $20 bill. Please don't put yourself out, I told him. Let me tell you a story, he said. My mother is in hospital with cancer. I visit her every day and bring her flowers. I went this morning and she got mad at me for spending my money on more flowers. She demanded that I do something else with that money. So here, please accept this. It is my mother's flowers. Leslie Wagner, Peel, Arkansas. Forgive me if I said that last name wrong. Jim and the job. My neighbour Jim had trouble deciding if he wanted to retire from the construction field until he ran into a younger man he'd worked with previously. The younger man had a wife and 3 children and was finding it difficult to make ends meet, since he hadn't worked in some time. The next morning, Jim went to the union office and submitted his retirement paperwork. As for his placement, he gave them the name of the young man. This was 6 years ago, and that young husband and father have been employed ever since. Miranda McLean, Brutus, Michigan. The Little Lift. One evening, I left a restaurant just ahead of a woman assisting her elderly mom. I approached the curb and paused to see if my arthritic knee could climb it. To my right appeared an arm to assist. It was that of the elderly mom. My heart was so touched. Donnan Maury, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Breaking bread. Last December before work, I stopped at a deli and ordered an everything bagel with cream cheese. It was toasty warm and I couldn't wait to dig in. But as I left the store, I noticed an older, indigent gentleman sitting at the bus stop. Knowing it would probably be his only warm meal of the day, I gave him the bagel. But all was not lost for me. Another customer from the deli offered me half of her bagel. I was so delighted because I realized that in one way or another, we are all looked after. Liliana Figueroa, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona. My commander's call. It was one of my first missions on a gunship during the Vietnam War. I was scanning for enemy fire when I spotted a bright object that looked like it was coming for us. Missile, missile, I shouted into my interphone. The pilot jerked the airplane as hard as he could, dumping guys from one side of the craft to the next. Well, turns out the missile was a flare we had just dropped. Suffice to say, the guys weren't pleased. Back at the base, my commander put an arm around my shoulder. "Sergeant Hunter," he said, "you keep calling them like you see them. Better safe than sorry." That kind act gave me the confidence to be one of the top gunners in my squadron. Douglas Hunter, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Raised right. Children were playing at the recreation area of an IKEA store when my 5-year-old granddaughter motioned for a small boy to stop. She knelt down before him and retied his flopping shoelaces. She had only just learned how to tie her own. No words were spoken, but after she finished, both smiled shyly, then turned to race off into different directions. Sheila Mayers, Ola, Louisiana. Butterflies of support. I was 4 months pregnant with our first child when our baby's heart stopped beating. I was devastated. As the days went on, I was nervous about returning to work. I'm a middle school teacher and didn't know how I could face the kids. This past May, after 4 weeks of recovering, I walked into my empty classroom and turned on the lights. Glued on the wall were 100 coloured paper butterflies, each with a handwritten message on it from current and past students. All of them had encouraging messages, such as, "Keep moving forward, don't give up on God, and know that we love you." It was exactly what I needed. Jennifer Garcia, San Bento, Texas. Twice as nice. 2 firefighters were waiting in line at a fast food restaurant when the sirens sounded on their fire truck parked outside. As they turned to leave, a couple had just received their orders, handing their food to the firefighters. The couple then got back in line to order. Doubling down on their selfless act, the manager refused to take their money. Joanne Sanderson, Brandon, Florida. She gave me direction. As I left a party, I got on the wrong freeway and was immediately lost. I pulled over to the shoulder and called my roadside assistance provider. She tried to connect me to the California Highway Patrol, but the call never went through. Hearing the panic in my voice, she came up with a plan B. "You're near this office," she said. "I'm about to go off shift. Stay put and I'll find you." 10 minutes later, she rolled up. She guided me not only to the right freeway, but all the way to the correct freeway exit. And then, with a wave goodbye, she drove back into the night. Michelle Arnold, Santee, California. Stories on kindness in unexpected places. Going to the post office is usually a weekly event for me. I rarely give it any thought other than to drive there, go inside and drop off my letter or package. However, our world has changed now, and I must give careful consideration to this journey, as my age and pre-existing condition put me into a vulnerable category. There are decisions that I need to make. Is this a package that must go out now? I conclude that it is. Is there anyone else who can take the package for me? I conclude that there is not, so I have made 2 decisions already. Next, I must determine which of the 2 post offices closest to me would be the easiest one to accomplish my goal. I realize a larger one would be my best option. 3 decisions made. On the drive over, I determined that I will look to see the number of cars in the parking lot before I make my decision to go in. Upon arriving, I conclude the car population is small enough, so I pull into an empty space. My next thought is perhaps I should wait for someone to come out and ask them to take my package in. Then I realize I will just be making contact with a perfect stranger, and what is the difference between talking to that stranger and just going in and talking to the clerk? Next decision made. I walk inside. There are only 2 people. Both are standing at the counters making their transactions. I walk to the front of what is normally a very long line. I'm standing alone, waiting my turn. Shortly, I am called to the window. I see that the postal clerk is aware of the fear in my eyes. She quietly steps back from her station and motions me to come forward. I step up to the counter and place my package on the scale. She then motions me to step back. I move away and she begins the process of weighing it and determining the proper postage. She tells me the price and motions me forward as she takes a step back. Again, I believe she saw the terror in my eyes and said, "One moment, Mom." She leans under the counter and picks up a Lysol wipe. She thoroughly cleans the credit card machine and the entire counter around it. She then steps back again and motions me forward. As I insert my card, tears start to roll down my cheeks. I was so moved by the care with what she had accomplished. Which is usually a very simple task. When I had completed my transaction, she again motioned me back as she stepped forward. She took the receipt, wiped it down, and laid it on the counter. Besides it, she placed a clean tissue as she could see my tears were still streaming down my cheeks. She again stepped away from the counter. I picked up the receipt and took a step back. In gratitude, I bowed to her. She bowed to me with equal respect. Giannine Hall, Asheville, Tennessee. All the stories I have read out to you are all sort of the same principle. So I tell you, be careful who you invite in your circle. Be careful who hangs around you. Be careful who is close to you. Know who is for you, who is truly for you, as they say they are. Your funeral is going to be more packed than your birthday because people would rather see you on your back than on your feet. Today's quote of the week is, "We all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone." We all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone. I researched why humans want things we can't have. One response was, we believe if by being accepted by the individual we desire it, it will add value to us or validate us. It will satisfy our ego. We struggle with low self-esteem. We are attracted to the unknown or the unpredictability of the other person. Another response said this: too often the thing you want most is the one thing you can't have, says dating coach Erica Ettin. And it can feel that the more someone pulls away, the more you end up wanting them. Sometimes it can feel like you're always chasing something you can't have. It can feel like the more someone pulls away, the more you end up wanting them. This is partly due to our vanity and self-esteem, and partly due to our warped sense of their value. In reality, their perceived value is all in our head, and you're better off pursuing people who actually respect you enough to be honest. But it's easier said than done. This is a few things of what the internet was saying, but I was and am interested in what a lot of you were saying. So I asked some people the question, why do you think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, to see what they all think? In advance, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has contributed. It means a lot as always. I think it is because they don't understand gratefulness, so once they have it, they don't think they need it as much. Like a relationship. You two are together and you don't feel the same type of love as you was. Forgive me. You two are together and you don't feel the same type of love as you would if she was to leave you. If she left you, then all the memories would come back and you would realize how much you really love her, and you would want to see them back in your life. You will see that you love them a lot. It's more like us humans think everything we love will always be with us, but the thing we love is the thing that keeps us living once it's gone. We want it because it's special. Humans want what we can't have or want it when it's gone because we get used to what we have, we get bored of it, and then we want more. Or if we lose something, it's as if we feel that we are downgraded as it's gone or something has been taken away, so we want it back. I think it's a balance between both, but it depends on what the thing is. I think a lot of people think that they want something, and then when they get it, they realise that the chase and the challenge of getting that thing was the thing that made them happy rather than the thing that they wanted themselves. I think people want what they can't have because they see other people and see their life and see the thing they have, and they have the desire to have that materialistic thing. It's probably the pursuit of happiness. If I have a current thing, I'll be much happier or be in a better position. Why do people want things when it's gone? I think it's because it's a sense of emptiness. For example, if you're in a relationship, someone may not necessarily want that person, but miss the things that they benefited or received from that person. Probably because their desire wants to be increased due to them wanting to go along with the crowd, is what another person said. They feel the effect of losing it, which is why people want things when they're gone. People want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, I think, because people want what they can't have due to never having the chance of experiencing how good it is. Humans also are never satisfied with what they have, and they're constantly longing for something else. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because when it's gone, it's gone. So you feel like you want it more and want what's gone more. I just feel that people always desire things after they've happened rather than living in the moment. I think it's nostalgia for the second, and for the one, it's desire/lust. There are three most important human emotions I feel all sentient beings feel: happiness, sadness, and pain. But only raw emotions are felt by humans. Only these raw emotions are felt by human experiences, as they are the more niche ones. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because when it's gone, they realise it may have benefited them somehow. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because if they're not striving for a goal, they feel worthless. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because it's due to social desires. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because most or every human doesn't realise what they have until it's gone. It's as simple as that. Humans will always want more. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Our brain wants more than we can have because we get used to having what we already have, and the change feeling is good. We want things when it's gone, because it's when it's gone we realise that we weren't grateful enough for what we had in front of us, almost like we took it for granted. But that's just what I perceive of it. We want what we can't have or want it when it's gone, because you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Got Till It's Gone by Janet Jackson. We all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone, because humans want what they can't have due to its psychological aspects and what they perceive things that are unobtainable or hard to come by as an achievement. Humans can get what they want, but it's far too easy to get that, and it's not satisfying. For me, if I want something, like I really want something, and I want to earn or achieve something, it has to be difficult. Something I can receive, because only then I can try to push myself to get it. because the fact that it's hard to get, it gives myself the feeling of competition to be able to achieve something no one else can have. Humans strive to greatness. Humans strive to achieve greatness. What's so great when they achieve something that's not hard to get? Whether it's an object, a product, or entity, the heart desires to achieve what can't always be achieved. We'll always push to reach and achieve more. Even if unsuccessful, the heart will always desire greatness or something that will make it feel special or different from others. But when something is gone, the item or entity is no longer there. When it was once there, there was no need to achieve it because you already had it in your life, and so your heart felt content. But once it's gone, so has that peace in your heart that felt content, now feeling empty again, and the same feeling of desire returns, because that's when you truly learn that once what you had was maybe all that you had, but you didn't realize it until it was gone. I think humans value what they don't have higher than what is in their grasp, as they feel like to get something once it has gone or that they can't get requires more work than it is possible for. So many sacrifices have to be made in one's life. However, when something is there or someone can easily get something, they get used to it, and the presence of that thing holds no value to them. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone, because humans desire things so much that when we don't have something, we feel even more upset or impatient, as we feel it is necessary to have that thing, even when sometimes it's not. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because it's probably a mixture of the two. Everyone's looking for a way to have and eat that cake, but personally I'd like to say it's more painful, at least, for when that thing has gone. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because of the challenge. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because they don't see the urge to have it until it's gone. It's strange, but we usually see the true value of things once we finally lose the opportunity to have them. I think that it's both. I think that everyone always wants what they don't or can't have, and I think people miss things more when it's not there anymore. It's kind of like an idea of a phone. If you look at your phone, you can call people on it, you can text people on it, you can have a calendar on it, you can have games on it, you can have all different apps and functions on there, making your life easier. But if someone confiscates your phone for a week, for a month, you see the value of your phone more when you don't have it than when you do, and you realise how impactful the phone is. I believe that you don't truly know what it feels like to win unless you have lost. And it's the same sort of principle. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because you can't desire something you already have. The more you acquire, the more you want. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because if it's already gone, then they don't have the choice to have what they want available to them anymore. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because they realise how important it actually is after it's gone. I think people want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because they only realise the true value of something when it's gone or no longer available for them to crave for. I think humans want what they can't have or want it when it's gone because the need to possess something in spite of something else. For example, possessing something just because someone else has it is a primary factor, almost programmed into our brains. Dominance and authority playing quite a big role, but also because it is thought to be rebellious. As humans, I believe that we could be told over and over not to touch something, for example, but a little part of us would want desperately to touch it, almost like the forbidden fruit in a way, something that we could easily obtain but have the boundary of someone else's direction and dominance that we'll find ourselves unable to obtain it, much like a child raising in a way. Much like child raising in a way. If you tell a child, for example, that they aren't allowed any pizza ever, not even a try, then the child will grow up thinking that the pizza is forbidden. They will see all their friends eating the pizza, yet they're unable to because they were taught not to. Then, when they are old enough to make their own decisions, they could eat quite a lot of pizza, just to spite their parents and be rebellious, which can lead to becoming unhealthy. As for wanting something when it's gone, I think that it comes to the perception of the moment and the careless way that we take things for granted. We're so focused on the outcome of the day, situations, or even life itself, that we don't cherish what is going on in the process of our life, only the outcome. Thus, when we find that what we thought would last forever is gone, we feel a sense of guilt for not cherishing it enough as we should have done. Same goes for objects, I suppose. I think we all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone because we want a perfect life. So there's a lot of things we can't have sometimes to make our life perfect. And then when we have something like that and didn't realise it until it's gone, it's just because it takes a while, it takes the thing to be absent for you to realise its true value. Honestly, I have no clue, but I feel that people want what they can't have because they enjoy the chase of trying to get it. Some would say it's thrilling. Humans have jealousy, so they want what they can't have when other people have it, but also they take things for granted, so they don't realise that they wanted something until it was gone. If it's something we can't have, like a celebrity, then maybe standards are too high, or wanting to be with a fictional character. Maybe you mean you don't want a relationship, you just like the idea. It's a fantasy, and it's not real. There's no real responsibility or hassle. And when you want something after it's gone, it probably wasn't appreciated in the first place. And when it's gone, you feel regret, like you should have appreciated it more. Like a grandparent dying, you get used to them being there. You don't feel that you have shown your love every day, but when they're all gone, you want to tell them you love them so much so that they know. Briefly, I think that people can't get enough of things, so they desire more of something and want to chase things they can't have. Thank you again to everyone who has contributed. I just want you to think about this idea. We all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can be a feeling of regret. You realise that something you loved and cherished and something that was important and that you needed in your life. You realise that factor when it's too late, when it's gone. I just wanted you all for this week to think about this idea and this concept. And I don't want to say too much about it because it's very deep and it's very personal. And I want you to focus on it and reflect about it in your own lives. For sure, I have felt the loss of something and that feeling when I didn't see that thing right in front of me. And when it was gone was when I wanted it and I realised that I needed it. We're humans. It happens. But don't let moments go by till you realise it's when you want it. We all want what we can't have or want it when it's gone. Thank you for listening. This has been WeJustQuote Wednesday. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you haven't already, and do all that good stuff. Look out for many podcasts in between WeJustQuote Wednesdays and stay tuned for next week's WeJustQuote Wednesday. If you have any quotes, questions or topic ideas, email them to wejustquoting@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening and bye-bye for now. If you cannot look after what is old, how can you look after what is new?